2. Right. So that means that we have to do KJ over. There are the call signs of the ECs and ASECs and DECs that are reported. If you don't see your EC's call sign up there, you need to give them a call and say, hey, how come you're not reporting? But if you're in District 14, all of them report. They do a good job. Number of exercises this month, 42, 600 hours. Training events this month, 37 for 215 hours. Public service events this month, 4, 67 hours. Community service events, 7, 24 hours. Emergency events this month, 1, 3 hours. Not sure what that was. Skywarn events this month, and Skywarn and emergency is not necessarily the same thing. You can always have bad weather coming in or something you want to watch and get activated, but it doesn't. It rarely results in an emergency. But anyway, 7 Skywarn events for 47 hours. Number of meetings this month, 17, 164 hours. Classified events, which is actually reporting and stuff like that, 33 of them for 259 hours. Grand total, 148 things reported, 1,383 hours.
How does this compare, Jeff, to the other sections?
We're about to find out.
Next.
Yeah, next. So this is something that I can generate. It's generated by the league, and so this is sorted by the division, and then within the division it's sorted alphabetically. Where you see the green cells, that means that the SEC actually reported that month to the section. So Western New York hasn't reported anything. Another thing is we lost the ability. The league got hit by a virus in April or May, and so we were disabled from sending in anything for a long time, all the way until I want to say November. Couldn't send in anything, and they didn't want you to do a paper report or send it in a PDF or any of that kind of stuff. Just wait till the tool is back online and do it that way. In South Texas, we have the luxury of having the Info Depot, which compiles all of the EC reports and makes reporting easy on the SEC. Other sections just don't have that. Ohio has it. They have a grand one, but they're few and far between. So you see the ones where they stopped reporting in April and they didn't continue, well, they just gave up. And they just don't report. So this is just, I think that there are either 3 or 4 pages of this. So you see Atlantic does pretty good. Central, Dakota, Delta, Great Lakes. You see Ohio reports every month. They have really strong leadership in Ohio. So do a page down. So the next group, you also see New York City does a good job. Midwest, outside of Missouri, reports nothing. The New England states report almost nothing. Northwestern, almost nothing. Pacific, almost nothing. The Carolinas, Virginia, almost nothing. Next. Then you get to the southeastern, and Alabama and Georgia and northern Florida are pretty active, and West Central Florida, and so their SEC reports nearly every month. And of course, the favorite one is down there in the West Gulf Division. They report almost nothing outside of South Texas, which reports every month. I've been doing a report for somebody for 20 years, whether it was my first EC Hal Merritt. When I became his AEC, I did his reports, and then I was the ADEC for Ken Mitchell, so I did his report. I've been doing a report for 20 years.
How come we aren't green?
We are green.
South Texas.
Yeah. Are you saying it's blue?
Oh, I can't see it on my screen.
Oh, yeah, it's green.
Okay, I couldn't see it.
West Texas is reported twice. North Texas refuses. I don't know what Oklahoma does. Evidently, they refuse as well.
That's
I don't know what Oklahoma's doing.
What's that?
No one knows what Oklahoma's doing.
I guess. So I don't know if I have anything past this. Next. Yes, I do. So if you look at the, this is the grand total of all 71 sections. And based on the current value of volunteer hours of $31.80 an hour. They project that our total value of what's been reported, you know, it's underreported, is $10,638,000. That's time. I don't think that they have any equipment on there at all. Yeah, and that would be subjected to, you know, however you count that. South Texas is not separated from this. If you want to get a separated version of this, there's two places you can go. One is the Orange Ham Fest next weekend. I think I'm the guest speaker either 8 or 9 o'clock. And then the Greater Houston Ham Fest. So I'll break this down some more for this. We'll have a much larger audience there. And when I'm done with this, I'll talk about the Greater Houston Ham Fest.
You said Orange is coming up this weekend?
Orange is this weekend, yep. At the Orange Ham Fest, we will debut the brand new section badge printer that has brand new upgraded badge software. It's the same software, it's just upgraded to work on Windows 11, and a brand new laptop, all of which the league is paid for. And I'm kind of preparing to just get all this equipment together and end up running and shove it over to somebody else.
I can be a guinea pig.
You got it now.
I just expired.
George, I think his badge, George Fletcher's, was the first badge that was printed on the new software. Carol Longmire, one of his constituents, she was the first one that was printed on the new software and the new badge maker. The new badge maker and software is much crisper, cleaner. It doesn't have any bubbles in the, you know, just the technology for doing this kind of layering when it prints has gotten better and better and better. It is a slower printer. The old printer, the old Zebra printer, when you clicked on print, it immediately sent the data and it's everything inside started gyrating like we're getting ready to print, but it would not load the card. You had to like push down on the card for it to load because the loading mechanism was off kilter or something. So you always had to have the lid closed and it would start feeding it. You raise it back up, push it down and close the lid and then it would feed it. Every time. But this one, it doesn't. It's a single-sided printer. The Zebra one was a double-sided printer, but it would print. I never figured out how to put two different things on one badge, you know, side A and side B. When I did double-sided printing, I loaded 20 cards in there, printed 20 badges, and it was 20 different people, but the same thing was on both sides. Wasted 20 cards and whatever the ink was to do that. Next. So a slide that's not in here is Greater Houston Ham Fest. That is changed. The Aries Forum used to be at 7 o'clock in the morning. That will not happen this year. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning and it goes until 8:50. Everybody has to have a ticket and there's no refunds. When it used to be when you go there, you buy a ticket. If you turn your ticket back in by 8:30, they would give you your money back just to go to the Aries Forum. But they won't do that anymore. It starts at 8 o'clock, ends at 8:50, and then they have a balloon launch at 9 o'clock. So then they want people to attend that. So they have no presentation, no forums in the 9 o'clock hour. And then the ARRL forum starts up at 10 o'clock. That's the way that they have it working. I don't know how much tickets are at the door. They are $10 if you buy them online right now. I don't know of anything else. Is there anybody on here that's a cheese with bee bark that can expand on what I've said?
Anyone? Bevark? Lee? Aren't you interfacing with them now?
No, he's not.
Okay.
No, I'd make a pitch every now and then, about once a year, but no, I don't know much about what's going on with that Sherwin.
Okay, just trying to find out if anyone online does.
All right, so that's my report.
Okay, Kirk, are you online?
Yes, I am. Give me a moment to switch
Okay,
over.
I'm gonna stop sharing. You take over the screen when you're ready.
Okay, give me a sec here.
Threw Carl down at the beach.
Sorry about my not showing today. I had like a bunch of installers over, and I guess Lee also is kind of affected by the same thing. Um, in any case, really quick, unfortunately, I didn't have slides prepared, but the announcement is that this year Buffalo Bayou is going to be on March 22nd. And as always, we're begging and pleading for any and all volunteers to give us a hand with this. We have signups up on all the major boards, sign up links, and feel free to jump in and fill up whatever slots are still open. I think I still have a few spotter slots, and I will be going ahead and making assignments soon after this week. And I've got a few other things I'm trying to line up for the event. May or may not be able to get the P25 radios again, but if all things fall into place, I will. And at that point, you can bring your friends and family, and they don't have to be a ham operator to be able to come along and help you. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, we could use other non-ham folks as even if it's only ham stuff, because I can pair you up at least with a ham operator, while one can run the radio, the other one can do the paperwork and spotting to give you the extra eyes at the location. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions about the event?
How many volunteers you need, Kirk?
As many as I can get right now. I'm still short, several. So quite frankly, if 10 can come, I will use 10. If 20 can come, I can use 20. I mean, I can use literally everybody I can get my hands on. And this event is coming up in a little more than a month, March 22nd. So we will be going full bore with whatever we have. But like I said, I definitely want to. Yeah, and Keith, thank you for sharing the web page. But the sign up for the help is not on the Buffalo Bayou webpage. That link is actually on the group's IO and is on the is actually pinned according to Lee on the top of the group's IO page for District 14 Northwest. So if you have access to that, hold on here. All right, and Jason just got a hold of me, and I will take that into account, sir. I'll reach out to you, I guess, directly. I should put on my glasses so I can see the screen. Yep. Yeah, that'd be more than enough to help, Jason. Basically, do you mind, Jason, if I go ahead and mention it?
That's fine. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Jason is with SetTrack. He basically has offered to help secure about 40 P25 radios. Now, the thing about P25 radios is they need to be signed out to the individuals and returned by those individuals. We need to account for every one of those radios. You cannot go home with them for later on we go try to find you, because if we have to try to find you, we're bringing the cavalry. So, I mean, these radios cost more than some of your ham shacks altogether. So I don't want them to get lost. And we've done for the last several years some P25 radios that came in with the help of Harris County Office of Emergency Management, and they have been accounted for quite well. So, you know, I have full faith that all of us here are good, you know, honest to goodness people, and those who will end up with a P25 radio will definitely return that P25 radio back to control. And Keith showed that's what the link looks like. It's actually pinned near the top, and the link is down there, signup.com. That's what we use. Any spot still open, you can fill. I believe you can even still sign up even if there's no slots to fill. Trust me, I will use everybody I get.
We'll just
Any
get
of,
a driver's license, Kurt.
I'm sorry, say again?
We'll just trade a driver's license for a radio.
Right. But in any case, does anybody else have any questions?
Is there gonna be a ham component to the support?
What do you mean ham component for the support?
Are you gonna use any amateur radio communications?
Well, hold on here. Yes, I mean, well, you know, I don't understand your question.
My question is, do they need to bring their ham equipment to support this?
Well, yes, the 205 that I'm going to be providing does have some alternate frequencies that are in the ham bands. So your handy talkie, if you have them, please bring them. Even though if we get P25 radios, we're going to be passing out P25 radios. But should anything happen, P25 radio, you accidentally switch it to a channel you shouldn't be on and can't figure out how to get it back on your own, you know, that's why there's going to be a ham radio component to call in on and get some support on that.
Break. Don't forget, you've also got the check-in net, which is on a ham repeater.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we are the check-in net obviously is going to be on ham repeater because not everybody's going to have P25 available yet, and not everybody's getting a P25. So that's the point. Thanks, Early. Any other questions?
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Valentine's Day is over. Anyhow,
Why don't you release the screen?
I am not using the screen. Ask Keith to release it. I think Keith has released the screen.
I keep it here to work. Okay. Let's see, where are we? You have a stick.
Oh, I got one quick question from Jeff. You know, why P25 instead of ham radio? Historically speaking, a lot of the spotter locations for the Buffalo Bayou have been extremely difficult to one or more repeaters to hit. No matter what kind of radio you're pumping from, you get down under a building, you know, next to the bayou, and you know, your ability to hit that repeater, even though it's maybe 147 or 6.88, it you know, it is just flat out impossible to hit anything. And so P25 breaks through all that, gets everywhere, and we've been able to get really solid communication with P25 radios, and that's why we chose to use them for the last couple of years. Does that answer your question there, Jeff?
It does. We had the same problem when we used to do the marathon runs up in East Texas in the woods, but we used two radios. We had one in the car that had a bigger antenna, and we had the handheld. So we would do crossband repeat to solve that problem.
Right, right. And with the CERT rodeo, we use some, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, we use actually 800, 900 megahertz.
Well, we were operating simplex with the
This here.
STX 2500 radios, but it was just a simplex frequency. It wasn't using the text-warn system of trunk repeaters. The advantage to using that is twofold. First off, as Kirk said, we got much better connections to the repeaters with no static, obviously. And we didn't have to waste time giving our, because we were giving a lot of information in a rapid amount of time, we didn't have to give our call signs every 20 seconds on the trunk system. It's not required on public service. Plus, we had Harris County helping us out, and they offered them a few years back for me. So we decided to continue the tradition.
Right. So any opportunity we can pick up P25 radios, we go for the offer and take them up on it. Any other questions? Okay, Sherwin, back to you.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go through these. This is gonna be slow. I'm gonna let George talk, and I'm gonna have to navigate.
All righty, well, I took myself to COMEX this year. I had no earthly idea what to expect, but I thought I'd go. I really kind of wanted to get my task book signed off. So I did that. Anyway, we went down there and it's a 3-day event. The first 2 days are practice. And then the third day is the real life exercise. So Tuesday was the first day. Monday was travel day. Tuesday was the first day, and we go and we meet for about an hour. And what they did, well, let me back up. The COMEX apparently is an event where they bring Texas state agencies together with amateur radio. And the idea is you've got this very terrible disaster where you've got no electricity, no internet, just basically no way to communicate. And so the state agencies need to get information to Austin. How are they going to do that? Well, they're going to go find an amateur radio person. And the method of communication, primary method of communication is WinLink. So we're supposed to cobble together 213 forms or whatever form they need and send that via WinLink to Austin. So on day one, the first morning, we went in for an hour session, and what they did, they went over the 214 form, the ICS 214 for all the state agency people. We amateur radio operators aren't new about it, but they went over that for the state agency people. And then they shoveled us out the door and go to the TxDOT facility, Texas Department of Transportation. So we went there, got into their back parking lot, and everybody was supposed to set up their equipment and do show and tell. Okay, fine. And you can see some of the different equipment that the state agencies brought. In fact, the Texas General Land Office, that's the one we supported directly during the real exercise. And on that first day, there was a young lady there. She was trying to get her antenna put up, and she had an SWR 5-to-1 and just pulling her hair out. And I said, well, why don't you try changing the coax? That'll be the easiest thing. Let's try that first. She changed the coax, and boom, she got 2.1 SWR. I'll take it. Okay, fine. So she was happy, and I went on to something else. But I had thought that I would bring equipment. I thought I was going to bring a station. But at the last minute, that concept just totally fell through. That's a long story. So I came to COMEX with just my HT, and I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm wandering around the parking lot, just, okay, looking at stuff. Yeah, okay, just go ahead. Yeah, this is Don Dale. I think many of you maybe know him. Y'all know him? One. Okay, Don is in a Jeep. And when he parks his Jeep and turns the engine off and walks around to the passenger side, gets in, he's ready to go. Bang, he's got everything in there you could possibly think of, even satellite connection. He's even got a printer. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance to see his setup, it's fabulous. It's just like unreal. How in the world did he do all that? And he did it himself. Well, anyway, yeah, you can go to the next one. Yeah, there's some of his equipment all up in the roof up there. It's all over the place. He's got GMRS, probably CB, everything. Here's a group of us standing around the first day. We're trying to get organized. And I did a lot of standing around because I didn't have a station to put up. So I'm just wandering around to some of the other stations just to kind of see what they got. And I was taking pictures. You can go to the next one. Here's the young lady that was having trouble with her antenna. I think her radials were a little bit too short for what she's trying to do. That would have helped the SWR a lot, but she did have a bad coax. So
Is that a buddy pole?
no, there was a lot of chameleon antennas out there. A lot of chameleon verticals, and the little base coils were chameleon. So a lot of people had those. Like, wow. I was surprised. Okay, next. Yeah, there's her setup right there. You can see the little blue wires, if you can see that.
That's her radials.
That's her radials. The orange wire was her coax. It was a flat thing. It was a flat coax. Anyway, and then she's got her loading coil up there. But we got her fixed and she got up on the air. And here's some other guys putting up their vertical. It's kind of long and they're struggling to get it in that little screw point right there. And he's got one radial, but it worked. So I'm just wandering around taking pictures the first day, twiddling my thumb, sitting in the car, wondering what am I going to do? But so I just went around, took pictures, then go to the next one. And there's the back of somebody's car.
Not yours?
No, not mine. No, I didn't bring any equipment. No. So anyway, so day one was supposed to be set up and show your equipment. And so, okay, fine. Yeah, these guys are still struggling in the wind. I don't know. You see the curve of the antenna? The wind is ferocious down there. I mean, it is something else. And obviously, because they build a whole lot of windmills around Corpus Christi, the electricity generating windmills, there's a whole lot of those down there. Well, they have horrendous wind and all day long. Now we're right here, we're about a block or two off of the coast, not far. One of the other two sites, we had 3 sites. The other 2 were like within feet of the beach. One of them, I think, might have been physically on the beach. The wind was hard. And I had thought before going down there that I'm going to take an awning to kind of keep the sun off of it. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because I don't think there's any way you can put up an awning. Even if you physically got it up, I don't think it would stay in place. Even with weights, the fabric would either get ripped up or your frame would be bent from being tried to lift up, even if you had weights on it. I don't think there's any way you could put up an awning to give yourself some shelter from the sun. The first 2 days we're real fortunate. It was fairly warm and overcast. So not too bad. Didn't even have to put on sunscreen. But we wandered around and
Here are the guy wires.
yeah, you see the guy wires? He's got 2 sets of guy wires, one here and one down low.
Yeah, 3.
Well, that's the
top is the
antenna
dipole.
up the top.
Oh, he's got an inverted V.
Yeah,
So this is a push-up.
yeah, that's a push-up pole section, push-up. And here's another setup. Now this guy's got this little buddy pole charger box. What it does, it takes your solar cell and it regulates charging, and you have two output ports. Anyway, if you got a solar cell and you need a regulated charger, you might look into that. It looks like a pretty neat deal.
So be careful about doing so.
So, again, I'm wandering around. On day 2, we went, had our morning meeting for 1 hour, and they went over the 213 form. Now, again, that was for the Texas state officials. And then we departed out to the same location, TxDOT facility, and did the same thing, set up and practice. Well, I'm wandering around, sitting in my car, twiddling my thumbs. Lunch is always an hour and a half. So that was kind of neat. But we made it through the 2 days. Then third day, we go in, have a morning meeting again. And this time they set up 3 teams. And I found out that I was going to be team leader of one of the teams. Gee, thanks a lot. So, yeah, here's some of the communication trailers. Some of them are fabulous. Some of them are so-so. But there's all kinds of stuff in there. Some of them are really very interesting. Others are dull. So,
I keep touching them.
anyway, so we got to look at those. But so the day 3, that was the real exercise. And so they sent us out to 3 different locations. I was at the Charlie branch. There's Alpha, Beta, and Charlie. So I was in charge of the Charlie team. There's 4 of us. And so we get out there, and I find this other guy here. He's on my team. Okay, good. Where's the other 2? And, you know, we're calling on the radio. Where are these guys? Come to find out, they quit. They went away. And they're the guys that had the radios. So here we are in our spot. We got no radios to set up. So we're calling Net Control Command Center and explaining it to them. And so they're scrambling. And they finally sent us a couple of guys that had radio equipment. Yay, we finally got set up. And I think they just barely got their equipment operating at noontime. Break for lunch. So we did. There's some more of the communication trailers. This one was the real big one. I guess it was the general land office type thing.
It's raising.
They had a trailer that the sides moved out. And this is their power panel. Pretty nice power panel. And yeah, this is just more of the insides of some of these things. There's one that was blank. They had all this room in there that had no equipment. So anyway, I was saying, third day, we're setting up. We had missing 2 of our people, finally got them. And then in the afternoon, the guys got set up. Right after we came back from lunch, they called us on the radio and said, everybody pack up, change locations. And so they took all 3 locations and rotated them. And so we had to pack up, and go to a different place in Corpus Christi. And set up again. And get operational. And so yeah, we had to fill out the 205 in the morning. And we didn't use any of that stuff. It was just an exercise, mainly again for the state of Texas people. But you can see my name down there at the bottom. I was already a team lead. That was the picture outside the window where we were meeting in the morning, right next to the Lexington. See how close we were. So in the afternoon of third day, they rotated all the teams. We had to go find a new spot. Our spot was listed, but it had no address. And so I'm trying to put this in my Waze app, and it can't find it. So I'm struggling with even trying to find where this is. Well, I finally found it. We finally got there. And all the other guys showed up. We got set up finally. We had 4 WinLink messages we needed to send. And so we got them all in the computer, and he finally made contact with the gateway and pressed the go button. 57 minutes later, we had sent all 4 messages. And I think that was with Vara. And he was getting like 18 bits per second, something like that. Every once in a while, it'd jump up 200. Oh, wow.
This is VHF.
Yeah, no, HF. There really was no, if you look on the Texas website that has all the gateways, there are no VHF gateways in Corpus Christi that I know of. They don't have any. So we couldn't do VHF if we wanted to. It had to be HF anyway, because the idea was that all the repeaters have been blown down. There's no repeaters available. And it had to be HF. Question.
Was Wilbur Bandener there?
I don't know.
AB5WW, he would have known all the gateways. That's where he lives.
Okay. There are none listed when I go to the Texas website, RMS dot whatever.
Sherry's got something to say.
There's none in Corpus Christi.
Was that a question?
Sherry.
There was a comment, WM5N.
Oh, hi, Sherry.
Good afternoon. Wilbur was there, but he had to leave due to a medical emergency, and then he was back later.
Thank you.
So it all had to be HF. So 57 minutes later, we finally got our 4 messages sent. And that was right at the end of the day. So, wow.
Where were you sending them to?
They were going, I think, primarily to the SOC in Austin.
Okay, that's what I did.
Yeah, they were addressed, I think.
But you didn't have to send them to the SOC, did you?
Yeah, I think that's what they wanted us to
What did
do.
you do?
Now, during all of this, as team lead, I'm supposed to be interfacing with our Texas state people, which I did. We did fairly well. I wish I could have done better, but they gave us information, we gave them information. And so there was a good exchange back and forth. So I was glad for that. But the guys we were supporting, the Texas General Land Office, they kept telling me they couldn't make contact with their people. And I'm thinking, how in the world not? Because you got all these fancy, real expensive pieces of equipment. I don't know if that was planned. Maybe that was the setup, that they wouldn't let those guys communicate, and so they had to come get us. I don't know. I was so busy running around with my head cut off. I had no idea. But anyway, we made it all work. We didn't fall on our face, but it was a very unique experience. And I'll tell you, if you're going down there for this, you got to be prepared for the wind. It is constant and it is strong.
Whose tower is that?
That's a state agency.
That's a jackup?
Yeah,
It's like it.
Wow.
it is 90 feet,
That's a thing of beauty.
90 feet.
Is it guide?
No,
Heavy breathing.
no, but they have outriggers,
Is
big outriggers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like.
We have a moment for a question. Sherry raised her hand.
Oh, okay. Another question?
Sherry, go ahead. Unmute.
That was from earlier.
Sorry, it
Do you have
flipped
your hands
off.
raised?
This is WM5N. I was at the Unified Command sending out the information that went out to all the branches that was relayed from the command center. So I can tell you exactly what was going on. The beginning message was your generator is out of fuel. You'll be delivered in 2 hours. Utilize your resources to continue operations until fuel arrives. The second one was orders to only Bravo and Charlie, not everybody, that they had to relocate. Third message to all was cellular connectivity for
We
Nueces
lost you.
counties is down, non-operational. And then they were then supposed to send their resources to send pictures of their setup. And it was sent to a special email address that was set up for the NDOW. It did not tell them how to send it, just to do that. The next one was supposed to be to send a 213 requesting drone support for their area. The next one was to send a weather report to the UC. And then the final one was to prepare their 214s, and then there was an order to shut down. And that was all the messages that went officially through the command center that day. And then I had requested a few as part of the ham radio liaison for them to create to send to the SOC, their DROs and RROs and so forth. And some could, some did not, and they were supposed to copy me if possible. So it was a very active day and everybody had different things to do. Not everybody was doing the same. Back to you.
No address. That's where I had to go. No address.
Well, everyone knows where that is.
Waters and
So you can put lat long in the Google Maps and it'll take it Waze,
Yeah.
Waze uses the Google Map engine, but it's.
Well, for Waze, you have to convert it to decimal.
Right.
And I didn't have a converter readily available, so. Anyway, here's one of our guys on my team. He's working his radio. He's got his transceivers on the left, laptops on the top of the box, power supply, cable out to the antenna. Yeah, that was his antenna. He's got a little capacity hat right on the little.
What was that, 40 meters?
I think he was on 40 meters.
Here's another one up.
Yeah, there's another set of, there's my car on the right. My clipboard down on the floor, on the ground out there. Yeah, I wish you could have got some idea what the wind was like. Oh, the third day, by the way, was cold. It was 40 something degrees. It was cold out there.
I think that's it.
So yeah, that's probably about it. So that was my experience. And maybe if I ever go again, I'll do better.
Presentation, thank you.
I am shocked you didn't take a loop antenna with you. Or, but because he takes that everywhere. And he takes his,
I had all the stuff stationed in my house, ready to load in the car, but I had a medical issue come up.
oh, okay.
And so I opted, no, I can't do this.
Well, I thought maybe you thought that they were going to provide you with equipment, state owned, state run, state financed.
No,
Well, I was gonna ask, did they have any of their kits out there? They have about 2 kits per, district or something or another.
I did not see any Go kits that I recognized.
Okay.
Everybody appeared to bring their own equipment and set it up.
Any other questions for George?
One last comment, real quick.
Go ahead.
I was just going to clarify one thing, that those agencies did not, that wasn't part of the exercise, that they were having that difficulty communicating with their agencies. That was not planned.
The real world.
Real world. I was very fortunate to be part of the command team, and that worked out very nicely. It was air traffic control.
All right,
That's all.
Yep.
Sherry has something else.
This is WM5N again. In regard to Go kits, the DROs from the different RACES districts did have their Go kits there on site. They may or may not have utilized them on the Thursday session because you're only putting together what you need in order to operate for your agency. But they were out there. You just had to know what to look for.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Well, let's go on to the last one. We're an hour into this. Many of you knew we had our CERT rodeo this last weekend, and I just threw together a hodgepodge of pictures. What do we have? We had 7 teams. There were supposed to be 8. One team canceled due to weather. I'm not sure I had a total count. Do you know how many hams we had there, Jeff?
I do not.
And we need to get that number somehow.
Clint should know.
Huh?
Chief Clint should know.
Pete, are you online?
22.
2 hams?
22 Oxcom. 3 weren't hams.
What?
Say that again.
There were 22 communicators. 3 of them were not ham operators, but they were able to communicate.
We claim their hours.
Only 3 was working.
Jeff, can we claim the 3 non?
Sure.
So we had 25 for how many? 7 to 1? 5 hours?
I would go, 6 to 2.
6 to 2?
6 to 2, because you have to have
8
travel time.
hours, okay, so we had 25 for 8 hours, so I'll turn it in,
Okay.
okay? Anyway, let's start. Let's see if I can get it to go.
That's right. Don't get any remuneration, so.
Okay, there's the mobile communications trailer provided by, was that Northeast Unit?
Montgomery County.
Montgomery County provided that, okay. And they had 3 people in there running the radios. I'm not sure who's standing in front there. Another view, we're all lining up to turn in our paperwork and get our assignments. We didn't get our assignments until we got there. We did get a 205, a day before, 2 days before, barely. So at least we could program our radios. Although at this event, they handed out Motorola's to everybody. So they were only using the amateur radios for emergency.
Oh, I didn't go there to.
There was some, there was traffic.
Yeah, we had a total of 13 radios. 10 of them were handed out, and Lee had reserved 3 of them. I guess 1 for him, 1 for Sherry, and there might have been a spare.
Yeah, but those were just used for station radios, right?
Right. They were just used for stations, and we basically had each of the, I guess, there were 10 stations, but 2 of the events got canceled, so there were only really 8 stations, and each of those stations reported back using those radios. Other shadow people were using the VHF simplex network.
And it was also supposed to be the official emergency channel too, according to what I read.
Right.
Yeah.
Which luckily we did not have any.
We had our morning brief in the exhibit hall. Thanks, Jason, for this picture. It's turned out, I'll show you mine, but for some reason my flash keep wanting to go off and all these reflective stripes just about blind you. I see there to the right. That's Mark Sloan giving the briefing. He brought up one of their teen certs to give her recognition for having helped save a life at the school shooting here, a week or 2 ago. There was one of the students or someone got shot. Because of her cert training, she knew what to do to help stop the bleeding. And they credited her with saving that person's life, because if she hadn't stepped in, they probably would have bled out before the ambulance got there. This was our exhibit. Robbie's not sitting there right now, but he has a radio set up there to the VHF frequency so they can hear what's going on. He's got the exhibit board out. I just happened to take the picture when he had stepped away, so give credit where credit was due. Robbie did a good job setting that up. He said he had a lot of young people questioning what Aries was and what we did and everything else. So there was a lot of interest. Set track. This is a good picture. This is one I think I took. This is their communications van. I think I've got one picture inside.
There's more to make.
Let's see. Yeah, there's a picture in the front end of it. There's 6 stations there, 5, 6 stations with communications. Behind Jason here on the left, there's 3 stations and a bunch of radios. Opposite end of the van is a conference room. And the outside has a TV monitor there so they can display information there to the outside. Well equipped. They just got this equipped with a VHF, UHF amateur band radio here in the last year. And they've been using it for their off the grid drills. So it's a real nice resource. Let's see. This is inside the communications trailer. You can see Kirk there. Who's that behind you, Kirk?
That's Jerry Messerschmidt.
Okay, I recognize them. And of course, they're well equipped, got plenty of popcorn and apples.
Well, yeah, we had a good runner. He kept us fed.
I can see that.
I'm trying to
And
think,
that's,
is this,
and that's Keith taking a nap after eating.
yeah, I was gonna say that's Keith. Is he in the Carmel or what? No, no one knows, okay. Okay, that's looking back from the office building where you check in towards the smoke tower with the set track van on the right. See, can you see my mouse? Yeah, over here is where they were doing triage. Smoke tower was over here. Way off to the left of the camera, it was evidence collection. In the building behind us was medical and something else. I can't think of what else was behind me. Anyway, there was something else behind us in there. Here's another close-up of the smoke tower. I think you can see Lee's got his back to us. And who else is there? I can't see who else is there. Joey was there for a while. Oh, this is interesting. Montgomery County sent this down. I don't know what to call this. I guess I would call it a medical evacuation van. And the reason I say that is it's set up to handle 32 stretchers. You can see the stretchers up high, but these brackets swing out and you can put stretchers on them. Rated at 250 pounds each. So that was a rather interesting van. There's triage. They're doing that underneath. I pointed that out.
Kids in the back. There's no medical hookup there, like no oxygen, no nothing.
Well, there was stuff behind the camera, and there's stuff in the cases. They had some equipment up front, but yeah, if they had an IV going or whatever, it would come in with the patient.
Yeah.
I don't think they put the patients in here until they've been at least seen once.
I see O2 hookups, but
Oh, yeah,
otherwise,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I see it.
but otherwise, it's just a bus for stretchers.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not those on MASH.
No, you're right, though. There's oxygen. I see it. It's right there.
Yeah, if you were injured, it'd probably look pretty good though.
Oh, absolutely.
Better than walking.
Yeah.
I got this from my wife. This is the actual first aid station for the event. Last year, we were laughing about it. They had 2 volunteer nurses come out. But last year, I don't know if you guys were out there, it was cold and wind was blowing. It was down in the 30s, wasn't it?
It was horrible.
And these 2 nurses showed up in their scrubs, no jackets, no nothing.
Nobody told them they'd be outdoors.
Yeah, they didn't think they were gonna be outdoors. And we ended up rounding up a couple of space blankets for them. Because we were afraid they were gonna have to need first aid pretty soon. So these gals would give them a hard time about it. So while we looked at the weather before we came out. So the word must have got out because they get these nurses to volunteer for this.
I gave both of them a hard, and Dave Finelli sitting there, a hard time for just sitting there when that girl that was over in triage was screaming. I said,
Wow.
she's screaming her lungs out and you gotta sit over here eating popcorn.
A lot of good acting going on in triage. That's evidence collection right there.
Last year.
When they go down and mark evidence from a site. Think airplane crash where they're looking for body parts or something. Let's see. This is where I was in medical. You can see what happens when the flash hits, the flash on the camera hits that reflective stripes on the vest. They, by the way, this was on Channel 11 Saturday night, Channel 11 News. They came in and took some pictures here. And it was the only, well, that, and there was one other area they photographed. Oh, that's it. Any questions about CERT Rodeo?
Bad calls, huh?
It's always a fun event. It gives us a chance to do a lot of stuff. I checked the events. The only 2 events I've got listed for the next 2 months in the web page is the Woodlands Marathon And you need to talk to Peter Belvin if you want to help with that. And then the MS-150, April 26th and 27th. And most of you should have gotten notifications already to sign up for that. I know we did. So. Anything else? Any other business? You guys still awake out there? Did someone give me a head count on the Zoom participants?
We got
Kurt?
23 on Zoom.
Okay, we'll write it down. Thank you. It's my bookkeeping, so Jeff can keep his perfect record. Yeah, KJ.
So in the Northwest unit, I've asked Patrick Wong, W0PCW, to be our Assistant Emergency Coordinator CERT Liaison. So he'll be stepping into that position. And I saw him on here, which is why I'm saying it, but just so everyone's aware, he's going to be stepping in for Northwest and that.
He's the CERT liaison?
Correct. Correct. And I went, hung out with him, high-fived him, made sure it was cool with him before I told him into the position.
Now, he's also covering on the IMCOM team at the Methodist Northwest.
Correct, which I am now also doing as well when I'm on this continent. So, yeah.
Good deal.
So.
Any other news?
That's it for me.
Anyone else? Speak up now. I'm gonna turn everyone loose. They're getting tired, bored.
If you unshare, I'll put Peter's website up on the screen for you.
Who's? I'll stop sharing. Go ahead. You got it.
You want to put that on harriscountyaries.org. Super duper easy.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I will pass it on to Peter. This is his project. I'll let him know.
Yeah, this is KJ. If you hit the webmaster link, it'll email me directly. I can put whatever you want up. We've got a public events page. You can see it there. That'd be the right place for it. And then I believe Paul's the one who's managing the public service events page.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Paul Smith, K5PRS, or myself. We can put that up on the calendar. We have the 2025 Public Service Events Calendar on harriscountyaries.org. Whatever you need, happy to help. Super easy.
Cool. We'll send it over.
Hey, Jeff, when is the Greater Houston Ham Fest?
He can go back to screen. It's March the something.
7th and 8th.
We don't have that on the.
Yeah, that's not in there either. That should go in there too.
So if you email the webmaster.
March 7th. March 8th, Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, so once again on that, there's no 7 o'clock meeting. It starts at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. You're doing the 8 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should put that on the site.
I'm not sure whether I'm gonna make it or not.
Jeff, he has a medical procedure that week.
Okay, guys, thank you. I'm gonna start shutting things down unless someone's got anything they want to bring up.
Do it.
Do it.
All right, I'll kill the recording.
So we got
meeting adjourned, 1948.
Good night, all.